Good morning, people. Just before 6 a.m. I see there's a little breeze beginning to rise. You can see there on the top of those reeds. But otherwise it's quite windstill. Kind of clouds hanging. Yeah, so it's, what is it now, the 7th of November. Spring. Beautiful. The mornings are lovely. But I want to show you, look, this is where the cattle have been now. So, for 2 weeks in this pasture at the back. You saw the other video that I made, you see the grass was hip high mostly here. So they've come in and really cleaned this up very nicely. And it's been great to have them here. And of course, not only are they eating the grass down, but they're creating great manure, feeding the soil. They leave plants that are unpalatable to them. So this is actually a holy basil, tulsi, but the cattle don't eat it. So I come and I chop down the undesirable plants that they leave. I should chop down this as well. Kind of it's got like this. Kind of looks like a watermelon pattern on the little fruit that it has. So I chop them down to let the grass come up above them. I'm hoping that it rains now in the next week or two, so this grazing can now recover. It takes about 2 or 3 weeks depending on the rain, for this grass to come back. But I'd like to give this a real good break before the cattle come back in here. There's the citrus trees. You see the tree guards that we made for them. They seem to have worked. Cattle didn't get in there. And the grapevine, as well, the grapevines are coming up nicely now. And that third one there, the tree guard kind of came off, and they did chow the cattle did chow the vine leaves. See? But hopefully it's going to bounce back. Give this one extra water. So cattle do eat vines. I've been struggling to get these vines to grow over the last few years. But there were goats in here last time, and sheep. Ahmed's goat. I wasn't very happy with that, the way they chowed the vines down. So I got the cattle in this little section here now, just to let them clean up here completely. I've been doing a good job overnight. Gotta be careful here. What is this? I hope this isn't inkberry. No, it's not. It looks a lot like inkberry, but it's not. So here's the weeds that they don't eat. So I'll come and chop them down a bit later. So inkberry is that poisonous stuff. So I tried to take that out before I put the cattle into pasture. And look very carefully for the poisonous stuff. Basically the two poisonous plants here that I'm worried about are the inkberry and the lantana. I'll show you again later. Alright. This is Como. It's is Como here, and behind Como there is Kamva. And this one here, this is the mama, Mama Tamsanga. Okay, but they've been lying in the grass here tonight. Good morning, chaps. Good morning, chaps. Hey, Como. Hey, Como. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have a good sleep? Yes. Every time. Huh? Yes, Mama Tamsanga. Yes, good morning. Good morning. Mm-hmm. And yes, Kamva. Yes, you had a good sleep. Good. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they seem to graze right through the night, day and night, and now they're resting and lounging. The chicken coop kind of finished-ish. Still busy with the high work there with the ladder. But we got goslings in. Tank? We got goslings in, hey? And Nakia? Yeah. We did, yes guys. Come, let's show everybody the goslings. So, there are 6 of them there. Can you see, guys? I'll try to get the camera nicely. There we go. They came in on Saturday from a farm near us, nearish, probably about 30 minutes drive. A place called Lurie. So right now I'm just keeping them in there until they home themselves and until they're big enough to defend themselves against the predators, I suppose. And the biggest predator problem we've had most recently is these guys. So we've got to train them. But I'm hopeful about geese because geese, they can become very defensive and territorial. And I'm hoping not only will they defend themselves, but they will defend the other poultry, the chickens and stuff when they come in. But you'll see. So the other things that I've been doing, yes. So as the cattle work in the pasture, they also leave the gooseberries. So we've been digging the gooseberries out and planting them in what here becomes the vegetable garden outside my back door. Like that. I've also moved these 2 1 kiloliter flow bins up here because I want my aquaculture system, big word, fish tank, to be here closer to my veggie gardens. So I take water out of so I got tilapia in here, Orochromis mozambicus. So I take water from the tank and I use that. So this is now fertilized with the tilapia poop, and I use that to water my garden here. And the water that we use to fill the tanks is from the spring, but this is nice and fertilized water. And here's my veggie garden there. Beautiful sunflowers, check out that, eh? Potatoes and tomatoes and broccoli. Pumpkins are going ballistic in the banana circle there. Giant kale. Ooh, cattle love kale. That giant kale is now a not so giant kale. Cattle kind of chow that. They love kale. Very good for them. Yeah, so this is a huge big junk pile now. So part of what I'm trying to do now is to organize this huge big junk pile. I'm doing renovations on a property of mine in town. The idea is now there's there's a barn type storage place that I'm going to be developing behind the cottage over there. And that'll neaten up all of this stuff. All of this stuff must be taken to the dump. That's a challenge for any kind of homesteading operation. There's a lot of stuff that you can't throw away that you're going to need for future projects. It's got to be stored somewhere, otherwise it's going to be a mess. So we've got the cattle in that little camp behind there, that little L-shaped camp there. From there they're going to go to that camp there behind where the goslings are. That's a fenced area there. Now I'm going to begin to train them in that camp. I'm going to begin to train them into the temporary electric fence, and then from there I'll be able to begin to circulate them around what is very good grazing all around near here. Slowly. So what's happened, this is where the tilapia tanks were. So these have been moved. Work in progress, guys, very messy. But the water is now pumped. This now becomes no fish spring water. This is the pipe that it comes up from the spring. I'll switch it on just now and run it a bit. So that from here I can water cattle from the spring water. Obviously I don't want to feed the cattle water that has been polluted with fish poop. So from here this water will be able to be pumped up to wherever we need to give cattle water. Cattle need two things: water and grass. Absolutely amazing. But look at all this nice grazing for these guys. So the idea is, I've got these 3 cattle in here now. How many cattle do I want? I want there to be as many cattle on the land as the land needs to become as beautiful, as optimal as it can be. Beautiful and optimal, I use those words very specifically. I'm not working on carrying capacities and maximizing return. I'm talking about beauty. I'm talking about that amount, that number of cattle, that number of livestock that are required to bring the best out of the land. It's naive and simplistic and incorrect to think that the best way to care for land, conserve the environment is to remove all animals from it. That's just foolish, including beef, cattle. Sure, back in the day, 1,000 years ago, this land would not have had cattle, because cattle come, we are told by the clever scientists, they come from probably Egypt and India. That's kind of what the best thinking is. But there would have been other large animals grazing, wildebeest, and buffalo, elephants and rhinoceros. We've removed all of those large animals from this landscape. And bringing cattle in can return a bit of that as close as possible. We're not in a position to bring in buffalo, rhinoceros, hippopotamus, but we can try our best to bring in cattle. Maybe some geese. Who knows, a goat or 2 one day, a pig if we're brave. But not to let them go crazy, not to let them go wild, not to let them destroy the landscape, not to let the landscape become kind of a factory floor which is used to produce as much meat as possible, or eggs as possible, or milk as possible. No, that's not what we're interested in. We're interested in something different. But anyhow, it's time for me to get my coffee. I'll chat to you guys later.